Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757.
Good morning, Bryan.
Hey, good morning, Sofia.
How are you doing today?
Doing well. It's Friday. Love it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's always an exciting day, right?
Yeah. It was cold out there this morning, though. I know that.
It was. I had frost on my truck. Like It was crazy.
Yeah. I went to the gym this morning. It was freezing. I had frost on my truck as well. It was cold. It was really, really cold.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Carter was like, he came outside and he said, "It's cold." I said, yeah. It's one of those days, and next week it's going to be in the 70s. Watch.
Yeah. I don't know. 70s, I don't know if we got more of those left. Maybe I know not. Today's supposed to be.
It was an exaggeration.
Yeah.
But maybe like high 60s or, mid 60s.
I know today's supposed to get up to I think close to about 60. I know the fellas was talking about trying to play golf. I don't know if I'm able to do that today, but, I know today and tomorrow is supposed to be pretty nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have some stuff to do tomorrow, so I'm actually pretty excited that it's not going to be too cold out, because I really don't like going outside when it's cold.
Yeah. I know I remember I'm going to, our buddy Cavell. They have their Christmas party tomorrow, so I'm going to that. I remember last year when he had his Christmas party, that night it was freezing. I think it was one of the coldest nights of the year last year. It was in the 20s or 30s last year. So, like you said, I'm glad that tomorrow the weather isn't going to be, nighttime is going to be cold, but it's not going to be as cold. At least I'm hoping not anyway. So,
yeah. I have an event that I had already committed to prior to getting the invitation from Brittany, which is Cavell's assistant. And, and it's not close by. I wish I could do both. But this is all the way in Yorktown. It's in Yorktown.
Yeah, Yorktown, far.
Yeah, it's far. Yeah. So there's no way that I'm going to be able to do both.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much at the exact same time. I think they overlap almost to the hour. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped by their office yesterday. We actually had a meeting for Regis Title. And
oh, okay.
Yeah, they were getting everything prepared and ready for the event. So they got it set up nice. They got it set up real nice. So I'm excited to see how they put everything together. Because they were kind of scrambling, getting everything going. Brittany, Ashley, and everyone. And normally kind of helps put things together. Angie. So I'm excited. We'll see.
Yeah.
Get to dress up a little bit. See how that is. So.
That'll be fun. Yeah. I know it's gonna be fun. He always throw good parties.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
Yeah.
Especially with it being at his space this year. Normally it's at different places. So
yeah.
I know he's going to try to put on. A lot of people hadn't been able to come by and see his new spot yet. So, this would be a good opportunity. I know he's kind of trying to make it a 2-in-1 as far as folks coming by, checking it out, and actually having a Christmas party with it as well. So
okay. Yeah. Go Cavell.
Oh, yeah.
Big things. Hopefully he can start renting that space. I mean, if it's big enough to have an event like that, then hopefully he can start renting out that space to other people to make money from it.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah, he told me he got a lady who, it's crazy. He showed me her Instagram. He got a lady who's doing I think she does everything. I mean, she's doing Botox. She's doing massages. She's doing freaking, I don't want to say surgeries, but she's doing a whole bunch of stuff. I guess it's catered to, women, y'all. Tattoo eyebrows. I mean, she's doing a little bit of every single thing. I even think she's doing a little bit of hair of some sort as well. But she's renting space from him. And she's already started renting space. And he said he just got it zoned. It was zoned for office use, but now he got it zoned for business use. And that change allowed him to be able to utilize it, for, renting space and, for event space and just different things. So, yeah, so he's definitely excited about that. So,
yeah. Now, I can say that I dabble in the eyebrows because I do mine, but I don't know, about getting them tattooed on. I don't think I'm that brave to do anything like that, because I actually want a nose piercing, and I'm scared that it's going to leave some type of scar.
So, question. 2 questions. So, nose piercing. I remember I had a conversation amongst the fellas about this many years ago. Is that how do you view men with having a nose piercing? Is that okay, or does it look sketch in your view, or is it like more of a female type of thing, or what?
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't prefer my guy to have his nose pierced, but if it's a part of his style, because you know how some people just have like their own unique style, and having a nose piercing may just fit them.
Correct.
You know, so I can understand that, but outside of that, I don't think it's like an ear piercing. Like anybody can have an ear piercing. You don't have to have style to necessarily have an ear piercing. But I think with the nose, you definitely need to have some it needs to match your personality. It needs to match your style. It needs to match you as a person.
Gotcha. Yeah, my buddy Eric, he does music. You know, he's up in New York, really talented guy. And he has kind of like an off the wall style, and that was the center of the conversation because he had got his nose pierced probably like maybe 8 years ago. And it was the whole conversation was we were kind of a couple of fellas was joking them. I mean, for me, I kind of agree with what you just said. Like, I personally wouldn't do it because that's not my style. But you know, there are people who I think it does fit their look and their personality, and he's one of them. So it kind of made sense for me. But some of the other guys would give him a hard time. So it was just something that I wanted to get a woman's perspective on how you feel about that.
Yeah, because sometimes like even as far as like with women's stuff, right?
Yeah,
there's some women who could wear like the big hoops and the big, huge earrings. Yeah. And it fit their style. Yeah. But then there's some women who wear it and it looks completely tacky. It doesn't even
I didn't even think about it like that. Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, to each his own, for sure.
My second question was, so I remember you talking about your eyebrows, like the way you do your eyebrows. Would you be able to do that on other people, or is that something that you could just only do for yourself? You know, sometimes people say like, "Hey,
no, I could do them for other people."
You could do that for other people. Have you done that for other people before?
Yes.
You have. Okay.
So there was a short period of time where I used to do makeup for people.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, not for pay per se. Yeah. But like, let's say they wanted to go somewhere and they just wasn't into makeup, then I could, as long as they had their own makeup, their own stuff, you know, because everybody's a different shade, everybody is different, then I could apply makeup and make it look nice. Okay. Yeah. And that included doing eyebrows. It took, I used to practice, actually, it's funny, I used to practice on Maya when she was a kid.
Oh, for real? That's funny.
I did. I used to practice on her, and then that's when I started, like,
actually other people.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my daughter's gonna be like that, man. She's literally like, she loves like dolls and makeup and hair. Like even last night when I was putting her to bed, actually I had already put her to bed, and she had like screamed my name 30 minutes later. Was like, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." So I'm thinking something happened. You know, she'd be thinking bugs in her room. She'd just be like tripping on some stupid stuff sometimes. So I run in the room, like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Can you fix this hair tie on my doll? Her hair's messed up and she can't go to sleep like this." I was like, "What?" So I had to get this doll that had like this loud hair. It was like I think it was a troll doll, if I'm not mistaken, but it had like, you know, pink and green hair. And I got the little scrunchie and tied it up. And she was like, "Thank you, Daddy." And she laid in the bed and went to sleep. So I was like, yeah, it's crazy. But she does that like literally when she comes home. I mean, you know, she does that all the time with her different dolls, and you know, likes to, you know, put makeup on them and, you know, do stuff. And ever since she went to a birthday party earlier this year where it was a makeup party, you know, for kids, you know, where she got her toenails done and her fingers done and got a little makeup on her as well. Like, she's been hooked since then. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Maya, she actually has started wearing like mascara and liner.
Right, like the school? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But she's in high school. Yeah. So it's a little bit different.
How old were you when did you start wearing that stuff in high school too? I'm trying to remember. The girls in high school wear, like, I don't really remember that.
I don't believe our generation was into that.
But see, what I'm hearing,
because I wasn't. I was a boy. Like,
so, but what I'm hearing though, I'm hearing that again. My kids are much younger, right? So I know you have, like you said, you have a child that's in high school. A lot of my peers that I hear from, I think you even mentioned this too. Like, it seems like the kids now though are worrying less and less about their appearance, like as far as like, I guess, their clothing and all of that. So I guess it's just kind of, I mean, is that what you're, because I know maybe you told me like you're wearing hoodies and stuff and, just kind of not really like putting like, not dress up, but just, wear like, some jeans and a nice shirt or something like that to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So nowadays, at least from what I see with my daughter, she wants all the fly shoes, which that was a thing when I was growing up. 100%. And now so there was a period where girls would dress real hoochie. So like, they would be as revealing as they could be.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like the girls are starting to get into that baggy look, kind of like how it used to be when, Aaliyah was around and Left Eye and stuff. So they're getting back into that style. And that's how I dressed when I was younger, for the most part, until I got to like 10th, maybe 11th grade. That's when I started to kind of see my girly side. And then I had never...
Started embracing it a little bit more, the girly side? Okay.
I didn't get my eyebrows arched until I think I was a senior, and it was for something. Like, I think it was for graduation or maybe even my open house. Like, I had never had my eyebrows arched, never done any of that. I didn't care about that stuff at all. Now, I went to every dance. I dressed up at every dance. I remember there was like a couple times where I wore a lip liner because that was like the thing back in the day.
Yeah, lip liner, yeah.
And with some lip gloss.
Lip gloss, yeah, I remember that, yeah. Lip gloss is popping.
I had done that a couple times, but to put on makeup, I didn't start doing that until I was like, I would say I was 23, 24 when I started wearing makeup, like for real. Like foundation,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I was older. Older than most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like you said with your daughter, she likes to play in makeup.
Yeah.
I ain't like playing in makeup.
Yeah.
I like playing in dirt.
Yeah. But she like that too. That's the crazy part. 'Cause like she literally loves dirt, but she also likes makeup. It's like two different ends of the spectrum. Like she literally, when we go outside in the backyard. Like when, typically when we're going back in the backyard, the dynamic is I'm playing football with Nye or my son, and then she's like over there, like just digging dirt and like pulling berries out the trees and doing stuff. Like she has like this little garden, that we got where we, planted some seeds, different seeds for her. So
yeah, that's different though. Yeah. Sounds like she likes pottery. Like she likes planting. She likes that type of plant in the dirt. I ain't talking about that type of plant in the dirt.
You talking about that type of dirt?
No.
Okay.
Well, same dirt. Yeah. I don't think the dirt changed, but it was more so like us like making mud pies and throwing dirt at each other. Like,
no. She's not on that.
Yeah.
At least not yet. Hopefully not. So, yeah.
I would be the person that was out there, throwing the football. And playing basketball and doing those sorts of things. I wasn't a girly girl at all. Yeah. Not at all.
That's the thing. I don't really remember growing up, though. Honestly, I'm trying to think, like, I guess just the people I was around, because I was playing sports, playing football and basketball, like, all the girls, like, and there were girls that kind of just sat to the side and were girly girls. That is true. Now that I sit here and think about it, but I was thinking at first, like, the girls that was around, they were also participating, doing, like you just said, like what you said you were doing. Like, they were playing, at least, they weren't going to the level that we were going to, but they were, like, throwing the ball around with us, just kind of hanging out or whatever, shooting the basketball.
See, when I grew up, I didn't know too many girls who could throw a football.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, did you?
I mean, not like I said.
Not toss the football. I'm talking about kick back, throw it.
Yeah. Well, again, that's what I said.
And have a spin on it. Like, it wasn't too many girls that could do that when I was a kid.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I'm more so just talking about the level. That's why I mentioned the level. Like, they weren't able to do what we were doing because we were actually playing it, for real. But they were able to, throw the ball, and it would be a duck or whatever, you know what I mean? But they were at least, they wanted to be involved in what we were doing because everybody kind of did everything together. Like, everybody who grew up together, boy or girl, everybody was always with each other. We went to the pool together. We played basketball together. We played football together. So, obviously the girls weren't as good as us as guys in some of the sports anyway. Some girls that was pretty nice in like hooping or whatever, but like in football, I mean, obviously they weren't like that, but they did try to play and participate or whatever. And we would take it easy on them, like we would play tackle, and they would the girls would be two-hand tag or something. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. No, I like I said, I got into being like a girly girl when I was a little bit older.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, how's this week been going for you? I was talking to Brooke this morning. We were like, yo, this month it seems like it's been going by fast. Like, it's literally the 15th of the month, already halfway through the month. So the year is almost over. Christmas is here in 10 days. We got like a little calendar where every morning the kids move it a day, to show what day it is. And I'm just like, man, it seemed like the month has been flying by. I just remember my birthday, being like, it seemed like it was a couple of days ago. It was almost 2 weeks ago now. So,
Yeah.
It seemed like this month's been flying. How was your week this week? How does everything been going?
It was good. I actually got a chance to catch up with like people that I don't normally get to catch up with all week. So that was nice, doing that.
Yeah.
And then trying to think what else I did. I did a little bit more shopping that I needed to get done.
Got all your Christmas shopping done?
Pretty much. I think I got everything. I'm just waiting on, the little stuff to trickle in. Yeah. And it's hard because, the kids see the packages and they're like, what's that?
Yeah, I've had that as well at our house. Kids see stuff piled up in the front when they come home from school and like, hold on, what's going on? What's this? Whatever. Who's that for? Like my son, I got him this the dribble up basketball, and so he could see it. It says dribble up on it. On the actual package outside. So he was like, hold on, what? Dad, this is the thing. I was like, oh, what you talking about, man? I kind of pushed it to the side, like kind of distracted him or whatever. But yeah. So
that's funny. And then we do Elf on a Shelf. Yeah. So every morning I get up. Or at night when they sleep, I go and I put the elf in different areas. So, like, my son, when he gets up, before he can even say good morning, he's like, can I go find the elf?
Oh, yeah.
Can I go get the elf? And I'm like, sure, if you want to. So this time I put the elf in the Frigidaire. You know what I'm talking about, right?
The Frigidaire.
Not the refrigerator, but it's like it's for your wine. And it's like glass.
Oh, yeah, to like a wine cellar? Like
wine, whatever you want to call it.
I got you.
Yeah, so I put the elf in there because I don't have any wine in there. And he was like, he's going to be cold. I mean, he was just at the North Pole, so I think he's going to be fine.
You said that
Yeah.
That's funny.
So he really enjoys that. He really does.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Is it just him that's kind of in it, or is it like
him and Jada?
Both of them, they're kind of.
And then Maya, she helps me hide everything.
She helps you hide it as well. Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, she knows that there's no Christmas.
There's what? There's no what? What you say?
I mean, no Santa. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
There's Christmas. There's no Santa. Okay. She knows.
I didn't know that. No Santa for real.
I mean. Yeah, I'm Santa. You Santa.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
There's plenty of Santas across the nation.
You're right. You're right about that. I think we talked about this before, but I remember the first time I found out there wasn't a Santa. Like, that joint kind of was like, I ain't gonna say it broke my heart, but I was kind of like, dang. You know what I mean? Because I really thought that there was Santa Claus. Like, I remember that one year, my dad was out to sea, and we lived in an apartment. And we lived in one of those apartments where you know how when you first open the front door, it's just steps, right? So it was steps because we were on the second floor, and there was a person that lived under us on the first floor. And I remember that year I got a bicycle, and I was like, yo, like, I remember just like it was yesterday, I remember going to sleep late that night. It was like 11, 12 o'clock, waking up at like 3 and was like, Mom, is Santa here yet? Santa here yet? She's like, I don't know. Go check. I look at this big old bike, and I'm like, there's no way that, and I was probably like 8 at the time, I think it was. I was like, because I remember there was people saying that there wasn't Santa Claus, like in my class. I'm like, there's no way that there's not a Santa Claus. Like, my mom was pregnant with my sister. I'm like, there's no way that she could have did this. My dad's out to sea, like, yo. I later found out that the neighbor helped her. They had like put it on our like balcony, like in the cut. So like she just had to roll it out and put it by the tree. So, but I was like,
that's
dang.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
that's the
Jada,
time I found out right after that. I remember my mom just kind of had a conversation with me. We talked about it. I was like, dang. So.
Yeah. So Jada, she tried to say that Santa wasn't real, and I was like, don't ruin it for Carter. So ever since then, she's been.
So she know then. She kind of teetering?
She teetering the fence. Yeah. Because some days she's like, it ain't real. And then some days she's like, let me think. Maya, she plays this game where she basically asks them, like, how hard do you want Jeffrey to be found? Like, you want it to be easy when you find him?
Jeffrey's the elf?
Jeffrey's the elf.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, backing up Jeffrey's the elf. She was like, how easy would you like him to hide, or how hard would you like him to hide? So they told her the night before, we want it to be hard. We want to, like, really try to find him.
Okay.
So the next day, it was almost impossible for them to find the elf. So Jada was like, yesterday, before we went to sleep, you asked me, did I want it to be a hard find? And it was. So that means that you're the person that's hiding Jeffrey. I know. You can't fool me. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's that.
That's wild. Yeah, yeah, man, that's crazy. I know my son, he asks a lot of questions, but so I know, it's only but so much I could tell him. I mean, eventually he's going to just catch on. And
you just have to make sure that he doesn't ruin it for Sloan.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Or I may just have to, they're close enough in age where she may just end up learning a little early. I don't know. Or maybe he just a little late. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Because I know it's not going to be able to, it's going to be hard for one of them to know and one of them not to know. Like, they're going to have to kind of just learn it together is how I'm thinking. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah. But I will say, kind of jumping into like, the mortgage and real estate, this has been a pretty busy, informative week, I would say.
Yeah.
Right? As far as a lot of the updates and changes, I think we mentioned it before, around this time of the year, that's normally when a lot of things are being implemented going into the next year. A lot of people were just trying to figure out what direction the market's going to go in, heading into 2024. It's been considered a down year in real estate and mortgage, 2023. So a lot of people are just looking for that refresh, start, I guess you could say. And so we did get some good news. I would say Tuesday and Wednesday. I know Tuesday the CPI report came out, and it was favorable. It was showing that inflation still on a month-to-month had been going down, so that's good. And then I know on Wednesday they had the Fed meeting, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell he came out and had a press conference as he does every month to kind of address where we are economically. Yeah. And the Fed, first of all, they decided to keep the Fed rate the same. This will be the third month in a row that they've done that. After I think they did it like 8 or 9 times in a row where they had, I think it was 11
hikes.
11, okay. Yeah, 11 hikes where they, 11 rate hikes. So 11 months in a row they had raised the Fed rate. Mm-hmm. And so for the last 3 months, they've kept it the same. So that's good. That shows that, the rate hikes aren't needed anymore. The numbers for inflation have been promising on a month-to-month basis. And so they've always been talking about this soft landing. So this is kind of where we are now, where we're kind of, as an airplane, you go up, you travel to your destination, and then as you brace for that landing, you always want to know. Like, I know for me, I don't know how it is for you, but when I travel, it's always kind of like, is this going to be one of the ones where it's bumpy, or is it going to be one of the ones where it's just, a nice smooth landing? Yeah. So, that's what they're preparing for, is a soft landing. And we even got more news as far as what's the outlook is for 2024, is that they're looking at doing rate cuts. Yeah, rate cuts. Them. So that's going to be great. You know what I mean? And we've already seen rates respond positively to just the Fed rate staying the same over the last couple of months. Yeah. Especially over the last week or two, or month. I would say month or two. We've seen rates drop. I would say over 1.5 points. Yeah. I'm seeing rates now, depending on how strong your credit is, in the mid to low 6s. When we were just 2 months ago in the 8s. So yeah, I'm very excited in the direction that we're going in. Going to the top of the year. I'm already seeing a lot more activity. Typically around this year, we get people who have a goal of, home ownership, they'll kind of start to, see exactly where they are and see what they need to do so they can, hopefully achieve home ownership, top of the year, beginning of the next year. So I'm already seeing that combined with where rates are going. I think 2024 is going to be a pretty good year. What do you think?
I think so, too. I think that with all the good news that's coming, especially from the CPI report and then also with Jerome Powell's address to it, and them stating that we are going to have 3 rate decreases potentially for 2024. I think that that's great news. And then on top of that, VHDA came out and told us that they're going to increase their limits. Yeah. So that just means that we can get more people qualified for some of these first-time homebuyer grant programs. And they even rolled out an additional product. It's called a non-bond product where you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer, and you can still get 100% financing. So I think that with all that information and with everything that's rolling out, and it coming right before Christmas. I mean, I feel like as a mortgage banker, Christmas is here.
Christmas is here, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I'm excited, man. I think it was pretty rough. I mean, I know some folks that even got out of the industry,
A lot of people got out of the industry,
yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
There was a lot of real estate agents, a lot of mortgage bankers that got out of the industry because it's tough.
Yeah.
And if you're not a saver, I mean, we talk about people saving. We talk about, what you should do to get ready for home purchase. But in addition to that, you have to be ready for living, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to have, savings in your account. So just in case something goes wrong, whether it's like us, things slow down and we're not getting the income that we used to get, or if you lose your job, or if anything happens, you get sick, or, you have a long-term sickness, you have to prepare for things that are potentially coming.
Absolutely.
You never know.
Yeah, and it's always big. I mean, I know, something I harp on as well is just having, multiple streams of income. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something, especially when you're in a commission-based environment like we are, right? What they say, we only eat what we hunt or what we get, you know what I mean? So when it's slow, being able to rely on some other sources of income to kind of get you through those slow seasons.
Yeah.
And, so you're able to still work and grind out during those times. So when things are a little bit better, right, or just, normal, I guess you can say, you're still around to be able to, take advantage of that and help others, when it comes to helping, if you're a real estate agent or if you're a mortgage professional like us. So, but I mean, like I said, I'm excited. Like Sophia mentioned, VHDA, we were on a training call actually earlier
on
this
Tuesday.
week. Yeah, kind of going through some of the different things. And as you mentioned, like, they have VHDA, I know, they at least beforehand, they considered you're a first-time home buyer being someone who hadn't purchased a home or owned a home that they lived in the last 3 years, right? So, that was, very favorable because you could have technically owned a home just 4 years ago, maybe, went through a situation, whatever it may be, but now you're still considered a first-time home buyer and you can take advantage of their program.
Absolutely.
Now they're opening up for this non-bond product. They're opening it up where even if you currently own a home, there's no first-time home buyer requirement, right?
Yep.
So you could actually buy another home and still be able to, get 100% financing through the
And
plus
you know
loan or
what?
get a
In
grant.
addition to the non-bond program not having a income limit, there is no sales price limit too.
Correct.
So a lot of these first-time home buyer programs, they have a cap on how much.
It was like $390, $395, I think it was, leading up to this year. This past year.
It was
right under
around
$400,000. I remember that. Yeah.
Correct. It was a lot lower than your FHA loan max and your conforming, and your VA.
Yeah.
So now with this new non-bond program, we're going to be basically following the guidelines of the actual program. So that's huge news,
Yeah. So
because
you can, like you said, I mean, you can buy, $400,000 home, and as long as you meet the conforming loan limit guidelines or FHA guideline, whatever,
or VA,
or VA, whatever loan that you're doing. I mean, you're able to get the down payment assistance or get the grant that's associated with that particular loan. So
Absolutely.
I mean, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, there's been I remember just especially in this area, there were several people that I remember over the years that were wanting to take advantage of Virginia housing and the benefits that they come up with, especially when Spark was available. But they couldn't because the limit on the sales price, right? Because there's like new construction. There's a new construction home that they wanted to get, and how new construction is. Once you add up, some of the different things that the builder charges as an upgrade. I mean, your price could be up there a little bit, and so they were like in the low 400,000 price point. And they do quality. They, had everything else. Debt to income was fine. Everything, income was under the limit and all that good stuff at that particular time. But the sales price was just too high. And so, I'm excited now that that's not something that's a limitation anymore. So there's going to be a lot, like you mentioned when you first, introduced it. There's a lot more people who can be able to take advantage of the program now.
Yep.
It's just really, really exciting.
And the effective date is today.
Yeah,
so in addition to that. Obviously, VHDA rates responded well. So, some of the buyers that may not have qualified 2 months ago, reach out. You may qualify now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to be doing our due diligence to reach out to our clients as well. But if you are a first-time home buyer and you're looking to purchase, you could definitely reach out. You can follow us on social media. All of our contact information is there.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I know it's crazy. I had a couple people already reach out to me. We had posted a video of our last podcast, and we had talked about some of the changes that were coming. We were just we didn't have all the information like we do now, and I had a couple people who already own a home that were inquiring about trying to take advantage of the program. I have a person that they were under contract to buy a house a week and a half ago, and I had them set up with another program that had a higher interest rate on it. But now what we're doing is, because at the time they made too much money for Virginia Housing for the program, and so now we're waiting until today to re-app them. They're closing at the end of the year, and they're going to now be able to take advantage of the Virginia Housing program, which was better than the other program. And then now also, since that happened, since we since we initially had them under contract and had them under application to now, interest rates, like you said, got better. So now they're going to get even better interest rates. So it's an all-around win for them. So there's a lot of opportunities out there for folks to be able to take advantage of Virginia Housing and some of the different changes that have come out starting today.
Yeah. I've had we have a coworker that basically told us, like, she closed on a loan maybe about a month ago. Rate was a 7.25, and with all the good news that has came out since then, they're like, hey, what can I do? I need a lower interest rate. But unfortunately, if you closed in the last couple months and you had a higher interest rate, then you're going to have to wait I think it's either 6 months, or for some loan programs, it's 6 payments.
Correct.
Or 6 payments after your note date.
6 scheduled payments.
Yeah.
So I think, that's something that
we'll be doing too.
Come in, this summer, or, springtime, I think it's going to be a lot of folks that are going to want to refinance that bought over the last, year and a half, 2 years.
If we can get the rates in the 5s, and high 4s, there's going to be so many different people. I'm going to refi if I get a rate at 4.5%. That's going to help me tremendously, because when I closed on my duplex, I got a 5.75.
Okay.
Yeah. And I bought it to that too. So I spent a little change to buy it to that particular rate, because I wanted to save,
Yeah, for sure.
On my monthly mortgage, because I plan on having that particular property for a while.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then also, there was some not so great news that came out in the last, week? Not even a week. I think it's been like a few days. And that's discrimination.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did hear about that. That was our former employer, right? Wells?
Your former, my former, but I also worked for the other company.
Yeah. I banked with them. I got money with
Navy them. Federal.
Yeah.
One of the largest credit unions in the world.
Yeah.
Both of these particular lenders came out for discrimination against Black individuals.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I'll let you talk on.
Yeah, I can speak on Wells. Yeah, man.
It's kind of sad.
It is, man. They've been in the news for the last
consistently for the last
8 to 10 years, man. It's been pretty bad. Yeah. I know.
Since I left.
Yeah.
They even have a documentary on Netflix.
They do. That was crazy. You saw that?
Yes, I did.
That was crazy. Yeah,
yes, I did.
Yeah, and that stuff was real.
It was.
Yeah, because I was around it. I know you could probably speak to that more than me, and that's crazy. So that's where, just, give folks a little background. That's actually where Sophia and I met each other.
Yeah.
I was a mortgage banker there at Wells Fargo.
And at the time, I was a personal banker there.
Sophia was a personal banker. And so, we met there, kind of became good friends. She would refer business to me, people that needed mortgage or had mortgage needs. And then I know you ended up moving or whatnot. But yeah, Wells Fargo, man.
No, I left. Before I okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I went on maternity leave because I was pregnant, and then I ended up leaving Wells Fargo because of the practices. I didn't agree with what they were doing, but I also needed to take advantage of maternity leave. Who wouldn't want to get paid and not work, right?
Understood.
So I had a conversation with my husband. He was like, well, just stay until, you give birth. And I did exactly that. And then once maternity leave was over with, I put in my 1 week notice, a week before I quit. And then I went over to our next topic, Navy Federal.
Yeah. But yeah, Wells Fargo, man, they because I left right around that time. Like there was a big news that came out where they had people opening up accounts in people's names without them knowing, opening credit cards up in people's names without them knowing, because there was a lot of pressure from upper management as far as meeting certain quotas. And so every day I would even be a part of some of these huddles. I think y'all call them huddles. I don't know if your particular branch did, but I know some of the different branches I was there at. They called them. They had a morning huddle every morning where they went over the numbers of what they opened or what they did the day before, and then they kind of gave them, okay, hey, what the goal is today. Yeah. And there were daily goals and then weekly goals and even monthly goals. Monthly goals.
Well, I mean, there was a goal for everything.
Yeah, and so what would happen is they were, I know the managers there, at least the people that I was, that I conversed with, that I knew, they were getting pressure from their management, to have certain amount of accounts open. And so, they were threatening, the employees their jobs. Like, hey, if you don't, open X amount, if you don't open up a certain amount of accounts, then you're going to lose your job. And, a lot of these folks that was working there, as you could speak to this, this was, they needed the job, right? I mean, this is what they were paying the bills, being able to raise their families with. And so, sometimes you put somebody's, back to the wall like that, and then you see some of the practices that the management was doing as well, because management was involved as well.
You think it's okay.
Yeah, you think it's okay. And they were opening, like I saw people opening checking accounts, and they're like, especially preying on older folks who were, who didn't know.
Who didn't need them.
Who didn't necessarily need them, opening credit cards. And people, because I know there were several times on the mortgage end where I was getting calls, we were just kind of going over, because I can look at their mortgage and see things and see kind of like what other accounts they have with us, with Wells Fargo. And they were like, yeah, I don't, they were saying, hey, they only have this account. And I'm seeing like they have multiple accounts, or they have this credit card. And they were like, I don't have this credit card. I'm running their credit, pulling their credit or whatever. And I'm like, hey, you have this credit card or whatever. And they're just like, they were shocked. Like, I'm giving them brand new information. And so, later on, we end up finding out that, that was going on. I'll let you speak to, that as well.
And, a lot of that stuff came to the forefront because what happens is there was a time where when you opened up a banking account, it was free. There was no charge to have that bank account.
Yeah.
And so over time, banks started to charge you for having a banking account. And there were particular ways that you could waive these particular fees. And those things included like having a direct deposit or having a certain balance in your account. And then there was other things like if you had a mortgage, you automatically get a free account and different nuances like that. And so what would happen is when they were sold these secondary accounts or even a third account and they only had one direct deposit from their employer, they couldn't fulfill the requirement that would waive the fees on those other accounts. And so those fees every month, I mean, it may be only $5, $7, whatever the case is, but if you don't know about it, you go a year and a half of having those fees, what happens?
Yeah. And you don't even know what's happening. Like, you don't even know because you didn't open the account.
Yeah.
Like, you technically didn't know, but like now they opened it on your
behalf. Or you opened it and you didn't completely understand what came
the terms
with
it.
Yeah. Because you can open an account and because you don't really pay anything up front, you may put $20 in the account just to open it, right? Yeah. But then the first couple months, you don't see anything. They're taking, there's no fee yet. And then after like 2 months, you start seeing this fee come, or you don't see this fee coming out, but it is coming out. And then all of a sudden that account goes negative. And then they encourage you to do like a overdraft protection. And then that $7 is coming from your checking account where your direct deposit is. And most people don't check their accounts on a regular. So that $7 that comes out monthly, they're not even really thinking about where that money's coming from because it's coming out of their active checking that they swiped their debit card. So it was just like this circle of BS that was happening. Yeah. And they got enough people who complained about it. Yeah. They got enough fee reversals where it became an issue. Yeah. Because $35 of insufficient fund fee on top of a monthly fee, those fees can add up quick. Yeah. So
and that's how a lot of times like these CEOs and all that, that's how they're getting their bonuses and stuff are based on people's shortcomings, missing, having these late fees and all that. That's really where it comes from. So
there are banks out there, one in particular that I know of, that they will encourage you to set up an overdraft protection type of thing. And every time you overdraft, they charge you a $20 fee, and they'll allow you to overdraft up to $500.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that to me is just setting up someone for, the BS.
Yeah,
like you can't.
You're just lowering the floor for someone. So you're just basically lowering it to the point where
And
now
so
they're gonna utilize that.
Let's say there's a person who's very savvy, because there's people out there who are like real savvy when it comes to getting something from a situation, right?
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll find 2 or 3 lenders who allow this type of banking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll go to one, withdraw the $500 that's allowed to go negative, pay that $20 fee, go and pay off another loan that they already withdrew from to replenish that $500, and just keep going in a circle. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul all the time.
Crazy.
And it's you never get ahead.
Yeah.
Unless one day you wake up, or one year you wake up and you just get an automatic, $500 from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You're always going to remain negative.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Instead of teaching individuals.
That's a stressful life, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Instead of teaching individuals how to actively save.
Yeah, and budget. Yeah.
And budget.
Sure.
There was no aspect of budgeting. There was no aspect of balancing. I remember when I first came into banking, I used to have to sit and balance checkbooks. Like, that was a part of my job. Yeah. And then they went away with it. They were like, you know what? Balancing a checkbook takes too long. We'll still do it, but you have to bring in the writing on the little check, the ledger. What is it?
Yeah, like the ledger.
Yeah. And then you mail it to back office, and then they do it, and then the person can come in maybe a week or 2 later to get the results of, where they went wrong. And I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, why would a person want to wait 2 weeks or 7 days or even 1 day to figure out where they went wrong? Yeah, that's great. On their little
But that's honestly, I think, like, in the modern day, I mean, I don't know. My kids are 5 and 3, so, my kids are still learning how to, write, read and all that. But like in the modern day, like school, like that should be something everybody is gonna work and make money. Like that's the American way, right? So
absolutely,
it's like it should be a class that's taught, not just like if you have a like when you go to college and let's say you take an accounting class or something like that you have a specific
need for it.
Yeah, for
that's going to be your major and your profession.
Exactly.
So now we're going to introduce.
I feel like in middle school, high school, man, that's something that should be taught. Like just like
absolutely
how to like save and how to manage money. I know it won't be though.
The significance of credit.
Yeah, and the significance of credit. I know it won't be because they ultimately don't want everyone to be in the know because therefore that then
raises the bar for the poor.
Yeah.
So basically, we won't have. A lower level income. Most people would be making.
Yeah, most people would be smarter and know how to do it.
Correct.
But, so they're not gonna, have it where everyone has access to that. They're just it's gonna be a situation where it's hopefully you either learn it in school, like through college if you have that in your profession, or you have a parent or somebody close to you who loves you and understands it, and they're able to spread that knowledge to you. But yeah, it's tough, man. But Wells Fargo, what they're in the news for this time. We were kind of talking about what they were in the news for,
in the past,
years ago.
Yeah.
But this time they were in the news for, it's more mortgage related, more what we got going on, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So it was more of dealing with, people that look like us, especially, specifically women.
Yep.
And as far as like getting pricing exceptions and how the cost for their loans were higher than some of their counterparts, which is crazy, which is real crazy. I think they were just...
For some of people from other races.
Yeah. So I think, and I'm not mistaken, I'm not let you speak on it, but I don't know if it was like an investigation that happened, but I think by the CFPB, if I'm not mistaken, and they were able to see that it was a very consistent case of the women, black women specifically, not being able to get, an exception or being able to get a fee waived or a cut cost which is something that we do all the time as a mortgage professional. We try to, if there's an opportunity to get in a pricing exception where to, give this person a slightly better rate or give this person a rate with less cost, we submit requests and we request it. And if they accept it, they do. If they don't, they don't. You know what I mean? But, so, there was a big disparity, I guess, between that.
There was. Yeah. And let's go back to the mortgage application. So when you apply for a mortgage, there's something that you fill out called URLA. That's the Uniform Residential Loan Application, right? On this application, it's going to have some of your basic information, like your name, your social, your date of birth, where you live for the past 2 years, your employment history. But then there's a little area on the application that asks for your demographic information. And a lot of people, well, I ain't going to say a lot of people, but some people don't want to fill that part out. But it's very important because on that particular section, it asks you what your sex is, what your race is, and what's the third one?
Gender.
And gender, right? And what they do is they record that information and they use that information to gather the amount of approvals, the amount of denials that happen, and they use that data to then determine if there's any discrepancy or discrimination that's happening within the lending aspect, right? Mm-hmm. And so what happened was with Wells Fargo, they were discriminating against blacks and women in regards to pricing exceptions and the amount of discount points or costs that they were charging these borrowers to get their rates. And so for an example of that would be if you had a white borrower that had a 5.5% interest rate, that white borrower may have paid $5,000 for that particular rate, right, as an example. But then the same borrower who is black, and more specifically a woman, if they had a 5.75% interest rate, they may pay $8,000. But there's no difference in their debt-to-income ratio, their income, their credit scores. It's just simply that particular banker being discriminatory on if they're going to ask for the cost to be lowered for the white person versus the cost to be lowered for the black person. So it's an unfortunate thing. I don't think that that's right, especially for it to... Discrimination is such a touchy topic, right?
Yeah.
And it's been going on for so many years, but for us to still have that sort of discrimination in 2023, and it's not obviously as blatant as it was before, now it's going to be in different ways, right? Mm-hmm. And so mortgage, obviously, is one of the ways that it's happening. It's happening, well, you can qualify, you can get the mortgage that you like, but we're going to charge you more for it. Mm-hmm. You're going to pay more for it. Mm-hmm. And that discourages people from our community for even getting a mortgage, because they think that automatically, I don't qualify because I don't have the money.
Correct.
And that's not the case. And that's why it's important for you to do your research and understand who you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just recently had a situation where this exact thing just happened.
Yeah, I got.
You could talk about that. But
one of my buddies, man, I'm not gonna mention his name, but one of my buddies grew up with him, played football with him. Mm-hmm. His mother was trying to purchase a home, and so with her purchasing a home, she was also refinancing a home that she already owned here in Virginia Beach, and she was going to use some of the equity with that refinance by doing a cash out to help aid her put money down for the new home that she was purchasing. Mm-hmm. And so my buddy had called me and he was like, hey, man, he was like feeling a little uneasy about, the situation. Like my mom was telling me stuff and, she don't really know what's going on. And, I'm not, he's like, I've talked to you. I know a little bit because I helped him buy a house, him and his family about 2 years ago. And so he was like, man, like, can you just take a look at like, the documents and to see if there's anything that jumps out at you. I was like, yeah, cool. And so I looked at the documents, man, and I immediately seen like the discount point, the amount that she was being charged was like $20,000, and it was like 6 or 7 points or something like that, and that's crazy. Like, I mean, that's not even something that I've ever seen before in my 15, 16 years in the industry.
I've never seen a discount point of 6 or 7% with an interest rate of 8.125.
Yeah, and the rate was higher.
In addition to that, there were underwriting fees, there were processing fees, there were other fees that were being applied.
Now those fees. I mean, that's just what the mortgage company charges. But but on top of all of that, it just makes it even look crazy.
If you're already charging $20,000 for the discount point, you better at least waive the other fees.
Correct.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, to me, that was a form of predatory lending. I remember when Bryan sent me over the loan estimate, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. There's no way.
She was looking at it. She was like, well, if I'm doing a refinance and I owe this amount of money and I'm taking out X amount of money, why am I only netting this? And so I was looking at the closing disclosure, and that was the reason. It was $20,000 that was being charged as a discount point, discount points, plural. And that was why it didn't add up, you know what I mean? And so,
absolutely.
She was like, man. And so I ended up obviously helping her with the refinance, and it was just one of the situations where, like you said, Sophia, I mean, this is a prime example of
she was a woman,
a black woman, and then she was being taken advantage of,
absolutely.
Because of really just her naiveness and not really knowing, what it is or whatnot. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and I was just surprised that even made it through pricing, because one thing that I can speak highly of is that with our particular lender that we work for, if the pricing or if the charge is too high to the client, we have something called a pricing desk. Mm-hmm. They reach out to us immediately and say, hey, this is not passing, what is it called? The predatory lending.
Look at this. My buddy just sent me this. He says, let's talk about this on your podcast. My buddy, I played football with in college. And literally, this is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Ziggy, Zahn? We talking about it right now, bro. So if you tuned in, man, you'll see, bro. You'll see, man. Yeah. Appreciate the the info though. But yeah, man. But wait, I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off. I just thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool. That's nice for people to reach out and ask us to talk about particular topics on the podcast. But yeah, that particular situation was just a prime example of, what's going on now in the news, and we see it in the background. And I remember your client saying, like, you think we could sue them?
Right,
And it's like, well, we can't give you legal advice, but we can tell you that this is not right. So you have to reach out to, counsel if it's something that you can move forward to. But having people speak up when it's a situation where they're completely being taken advantage of, like, hey, do it. If it makes you, feel better, or if you feel like it's the right thing to do, just like in every other situation, if you out at McDonald's and they get the order wrong, you go speak up. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So if you being charged, that amount of money for something that is not going to be charged to the average person that is of, non-color, then speak up. Yeah. If you have to speak up.
Yeah.
And then another lender that's in the news, which is exactly who Bryan's buddy just reached out about, is Navy Federal.
Yeah.
The Navy Federal is the largest credit union in the world.
Yeah.
The largest credit union in the world. And they were having discrimination in regards to approvals.
Yeah.
It basically said 48% of black applicants, specifically for conventional loans, were approved for loans compared to, I think, 78%? 77% of white applicants for conventional loans. And these particular borrowers had the same debt-to-income ratios, the same income and credit scores.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Now, I will say, I have seen that happen before because, people, and I'm not going to speak on the place, but I've seen where people have judged because of a person's name, you know what I mean? And then how could I say this? It wasn't that they denied them, but they asked, the criteria for them to try to qualify was a lot harder, a lot difficult, the underwriter.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, so the underwriter, because of a person's name, they automatically knew that the likelihood, because of their name, they was probably black, right? Just being honest, right?
Yeah.
And so,
because we have distinctive names for the most part. I
Correct.
Can't say everybody does.
Not everybody, but sometimes you got Boomquisha. You know what I mean? Right. We know who that is. You know what I'm saying?
But you can also have a James, and you can have
100%.
the last name be Johnson, and we know
Correct. Correct. But specifically, like, you know, for the name, I'm just speaking about a situation that I was around and I saw, you know, firsthand where the underwriter was giving a person a little bit more of a difficult time to qualify and to get the final approval because the person was, you know, black, you know, versus, you know, the same exact criteria with another person who wasn't, where you could, or at least you couldn't tell who they are or what they are because of their name. Now, obviously, they get the ID, you know, and they be able to see. We always see, you know, we could see that, but you know, it was a distinct disparity between how they were viewed and their file was viewed just because of their name and insinuating that they were, you know, knowing that they were, you know, they were black.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough, man. It's crazy.
It's tough. So, you know, don't let it be you. If something doesn't feel right, make a complaint or, you know, reach out to other people for advice. I feel like that was a great thing to do, is to get a second opinion from a different lender to see if you can qualify when you're shopping. And if you feel comfortable with your particular lender, of course, move forward. That's great. But if there's something that makes you feel uneasy, definitely reach out to someone else to get a second opinion.
Yeah. Especially a lot of people, man. Your intuition, man. Just like when my buddy, he had reached out to me, like, you kind of know, man. Like
when you know, you know.
Yeah, when you know, you know. I mean, obviously, some people you don't know, but you can just tell when someone is doing something that they're trying to get over on you. It's just a vibe. You can kind of you can kind of feel it. You know what I mean? If you had that gut feeling about it, you know, question it. You know what I mean? Don't sit on it because you don't necessarily know, you know, what's going on fully or whatever, but question it. And if you don't understand what they're saying or they're not able to explain to you where, you know, you fully understand exactly why things are being done in a certain manner, like Sophia said, go talk to somebody else. And that's why it's always good to, you know, everyone knows everybody. Everyone knows a person who's, you know, in real estate, knows a person that does mortgage, knows of like lean on somebody who got your best interest at heart.
Absolutely.
That's really what it comes down to. I mean, I know a big thing in our community, man, which it does frustrate me, where because when someone does buy a home, we do see a lot of their information. We see your credit score, we see how much money you make. You know, we see all the skeletons in the closet, as they say, right? We see everything. And a lot of times, because of that, you know, people in our community, they don't want to work with people who look like you or people who know you, right? Who has your best interest as your friend, somebody you talk to, somebody you get advice from about everything else, but besides exactly what that person's profession is. And we got to stop that, man. I'm just being frankly honest about that, man. We just got to stop that because it's best to deal with somebody who really has your best interest at heart. It don't matter if that person now knows a little bit more about you than what they knew beforehand. Like other people's in other communities, they don't do that. And that's why they're able to grow, you know, quickly and be able to, you know, do certain things is because they're not.
They lay it out all on the table.
Yeah, they're not worried about that stuff, man. That ego and all that stuff, man, has nothing. I mean, we all want to win. I mean, it's and I can help you and I love you and think about you and, you know, I'm your friend, so I'm gonna make sure that I do the best for you versus somebody else who don't really kill two beans about you. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something. I know I kind of went on a little rant right there, but that's something that's near and dear to my heart because I see it happen all the time, man. Where, you know, I got buddies that will call me and ask for all the advice. I do the other mortgage person's work for them, and then they just go do the loan with somebody else because they don't want me to see.
You know, I had that happen to me. I had a family member who applied with me and went with another lender because they were able to give $1,000 more towards their towards their closing costs, and would ask me all the questions.
Yeah, you did all the work.
I was like, well, why you don't reach out to your lender? Yeah. Like, why aren't they readily available for you?
Correct.
And you're moving forward with them. Yeah. You know, but again, you know, some people are willing to pay.
Some people values is not the same, which I understand. But I just think that that's something that everyone always wants to know. Like, why can't we grow further as a community? Why can't we do better? Why is the income gap so different between, you know, black folks and white folks? Like, that's something that we can actually change and do ourselves. That we can help move that needle in our favor, and we just choose not to. So,
yep, absolutely. Speaking of,
what?
Jonathan Major.
Oh yeah, my dude, man. Yeah, that that situation. I've been seeing that going across social media, even in some of the group chats that I'm in with some folks, man. You know, I don't know if folks know. Most folks probably know. May not know his name, but he's been a prominent actor over the last like 4 or 5 years. He was in Creed. You know, he was also in what's that show that was on HBO that everybody loved? I forget the name of it. But he's been in a couple of good movies lately, and he's been like, I know he was getting ready to be in Avengers as well. They gave him a role for that, and he was in the news for domestic violence, and I think it was a girl. Okay, I think it was a girl that his girlfriend that he was together and he was with or whatever, and she was a white woman. He's black, and it was just a situation where she had said, I guess he had hit her and did all these things, and then they're now going to court for it, and we are now seeing the video that came out, and it looks like the total opposite. Like, my man was running away from her. He actually called 911 and was, saying, hey, man, I think that she seemed like she was going to try to, commit suicide.
She had been seen out in the club that same night, partying.
Yeah, partying and having a good time. So it was just like, basically, the story that she proclaimed, the video evidence that came out, it was the total opposite of it. And it sucks because, I don't know what the decision is going to be as far as, him or whatever, but I know during this time frame, he lost a lot of like deals and opportunities because of, the domestic violence case being attached to his name. So I'm pretty sure he's going to do a countersuit for defamation, man, because, that's very unfortunate. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I know all the facts are still not out there yet, but just the video alone, man, I don't know, man. It just looks crazy for her to say that, scream certain things happen, and my man literally was, running away from her.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I feel like in situations like this, it discourages people from actually speaking up when they're abused.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if she really was not abused, then it takes away from the people who could potentially be in court really fighting a battle that they need to fight.
Yeah, for sure.
So, my heart goes out to both of them. I don't know. We don't know yet. I mean, more information may come out. Him running away from her is not, looking good for her.
Yeah.
But that doesn't display the entire night either.
Correct. Correct.
I just hope that whoever lied gets full punishment.
I just noticed I'm looking at the camera. We both got the hoodie strings on. So we matching right here. Got the hoodie strings on. You know what I mean?
Except for you got on pink, I got on red. We should be in opposite.
Yeah. Well, this ain't
peach.
pink. It's like a peachy color.
Peach.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Peachy. Yeah, I'm about to say I ain't wearing pink. Peach. Yeah,
it almost blend in with your skin tone.
We do? Okay.
Look at the camera.
Okay. Oh, yeah, they do. They do. Definitely.
That
Hitting
is
all
funny.
the notes.
Hitting all the notes. So what you got coming up?
Like I mentioned, got the holiday party tomorrow.
Yep.
My buddy, so that's going to be a good time. My son got invited to a birthday party, a skating birthday party. So tomorrow we're going to go to that during the day.
Nice.
He's very excited. He's never been skating before.
That's so funny because I was thinking about going to skating tomorrow there's a 11 to 3 block and then there's a 3 to 5 block.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. His birthday party is it's right across from my office here in Virginia Beach.
Oh, nice.
But, I think it's around noon. But yeah, we're gonna go. He's been talking about it all week. His buddy Reese, that's in his class, is Reese or Reed. I can't remember, one of the two. I probably butchered the name. My bad.
You should have just kept it at his buddy.
Yeah. His buddy is having a birthday party, and so my son was like, "Daddy, are you gonna help me? Are you gonna help me skate? Like, are you gonna show me? Like, I don't want to fall." I'm like, "Son, you're gonna have to fall. That's just a part of learning. But I'll definitely help you as much as I can, and you'll be able to get it." So
you gonna get out there and skate?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get out there and skate. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. But that's all I got going. Just that, and obviously getting prepared for the holidays. I mean, I think the kids got out of school like midweek next week, so trying to get everything in line and done. What about you? What you got going?
Tomorrow morning I have cookies with Santa with 2 of my kids, so I'll be taking them there. And then on tomorrow evening I have that event that I had already pre-scheduled. So yeah, the weekend's pretty nice, pretty packed.
Sweet.
I want to go and I want to try and go to DC in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I want to go up there and take the kids to a couple museums. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know how that goes. Yeah, probably, maybe. Yeah, go up there and hit up a few African American museums. I think they would enjoy that. But we definitely appreciate you guys listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
Hit us up on social media. Mine's is SKB_mortgage.
Yep, and mine is Bryan, BRYAN _Royster.
All right, guys. We will see you next week.
See you next week.